Good morning, children, and welcome back to class. I hope you enjoyed the first chapter, Measurement in Physics. Today, we are going to learn about atomic structure. I hope you enjoy today's class. Today we are going to study about Rutherford's gold foil experiment. A famous physicist by the name Ernest Rutherford carried the gold foil experiment. He did this to understand about the structure of the atom. The experiment he performed was a breakthrough in the field of chemistry, which helped him to understand the structure of an atom in a much accurate manner. This is how his experiment setup looked like. He used a source of alpha particles placed inside a lead container with a small slit. This ensured that the alpha particles only came out through the slit and traveled in a straight line. It struck the gold foil and passed out in a straight line. Why did he use alpha particles? Because it has high energy and it is heavy. So when it strikes the gold foil, it passes through the gold foil and travels in a straight line. Now can you see a screen around the gold foil? This is a fluorescent screen, and when alpha rays strike it, it starts glowing. Now let us see what was Rutherford's observation. Most of the alpha particles travel straight without any deviation, and you can see that here that most of the alpha particles, after passing through the gold foil, it traveled out without any deviation. Second observation was few of the alpha particles were deflected from straight line. You can see that also in this experiment, that the alpha particles got deflected. Third was very few alpha particles completely bounced back. You can see that few alpha particles were bounced back. Now based on his observation, he proved that J.J. Thomson's plum pudding model was wrong. What did J.J. Thomson say? According to his theory, J.J. Thomson said that atom is a positive sphere with the electrons embedded in it, like raisin embedded in the plum pudding. But Rutherford proved that his model was wrong. He told that the positive mass was concentrated at the center, and he called it as the nucleus. He then said that the electrons revolved around the nucleus in a closed circular path. Next, he said that the nucleus was the size of the nucleus was smaller than the size of the atom. Finally, he said that the atom was electrically stable, but still his experiment proved to be a failure, because when electrons revolve around the atom, he told that they lose the energy and fall into the nucleus. Therefore, the atom becomes unstable. But we all know that atom is stable. Therefore, his model was also a failure. Let us study about Niels Bohr's atom model. In 1913, a Danish physicist by the name Niels Bohr explained the causes of the stability of an atom in a different manner. Let us now discuss the main postulates. He first said that the electrons revolve around the nucleus in stationary circular paths called orbits or shells or energy level. Why are they called as energy level? Electrons do not have energy of their own, but each shell is associated with the energy, and that energy is called as the energy of the shell. Therefore, the orbit or shells are also called as energy levels. Next, let us look at the second postulate of Niels Bohr. He said that the electrons while revolving around the nucleus, neither lose nor gain energy. So these levels, the levels are also called as stationary states because they do not lose energy or gain energy when they revolve. Electrons revolve in their orbits. And the next postulate was an electron can move to higher or lower level by absorbing or releasing energy. So electrons can jump from one level to another level. So when it moves or jumps from lower level to higher level, it absorbs energy, and when it jumps from higher level to lower level, it releases energy. Next, Niels Bohr named these shells with a special name depending on the quantum numbers. First shell had quantum number 1 and it is represented by K. The second shell's quantum number is 2 and it is represented by the letter L. The third shell's quantum number is 3 and it is represented by M. The fourth shell's quantum number is N. So he named each shell with the quantum numbers depending on the quantum numbers. Next, we are going to learn about neutrons. When beryllium was exposed to alpha particles, the particles with about the same mass as protons were emitted. Okay, these emitted particles had no charge and they were called as neutrons. What is the symbol of neutron? N. The superscript 1 represents the mass number and the subscript 0 represents the electric charge. So do you understand that neutron do not have any charge? Atomic number and mass number. What is atomic number? Atomic number is the number of protons or number of electrons, because number of protons is equal to number of electrons. So it is either number of protons or number of electrons. What is mass number? Mass number is number of protons plus number of neutrons. How is atomic number represented? By the symbol Z. And how is mass number represented? By the symbol A. Now, let us look at the example. The symbol of the element is represented by X. A represents the mass number. It is written in the superscript. And Z represents the atomic number, which is written in the subscript. One more example, nitrogen. Nitrogen, okay, its mass number is 14, atomic number is 17. How will you find out the number of neutrons? The difference between the mass number of an element and atomic number gives you the number of neutron. I repeat, difference between the mass number and the atomic number of the element gives you the number of neutrons present in one atom. Number of neutrons, N, is equal to mass number minus atomic number. Let us look at an example. Number of neutrons of one atom of magnesium is. So N is equal to A minus Z. What is the mass number? 24. What is the atomic number? 12. So 12 minus 12, 24 minus 12 is equal to 12. So we can find out the number of neutrons which is equal to mass number minus atomic number. Next, let us do a problem. Calculate the atomic number of an element whose mass number is 39 and number of neutrons is 20. Also find the name of the element. Mass number is equal to atomic number plus number of neutrons. We need atomic number. Therefore, atomic number is mass number minus number of neutrons, which is 39 minus 20. 39 minus 20 is 19. The element having atomic number 19 is potassium. Potassium is represented by the symbol K. Children, next we are going to study about the electronic configuration of atoms. The distribution of electrons in different cells is called electronic configuration. This is governed by some rules. The first rule says the maximum number of electrons that can be accommodated in a shell is given by 2n to the power of 2. So, in K shell, there can be only 2 electrons. In L shell, there can be only 8 electrons. In M shell, there can be only 18 electrons. And N shell, there can be only 32 electrons. Second rule states shells are filled in a stepwise manner in increasing order of energy. Look at the first shell. First, the K shell, which is closest to the nucleus, is filled with 2 electrons. Next, L with 8 electrons. Third, M with 18 electrons and N with 32 electrons. So it is filled in stepwise manner in increasing order of energy. The third rule states that the outermost shell of an atom cannot have more than 8 electrons. So in an atom, the shells L, K, L, M, N shell can have maximum of 8 electrons. An example, let us consider an example. The electron arrangement of calcium having 20 electrons. So first K shell can accommodate only 2 electrons. L shell can accommodate only 8 electrons. M shell can accommodate 8 electrons and N can accommodate only 2 electrons. I hope you understand how these electrons are distributed in the shells. Next, we are going to study about the isotopes. What is isotopes? Isotopes are nothing but atoms of some elements have same atomic number but different mass number. Look at the example over here. Helium, hydrogen, deuterium, tritium. If you see, its atomic number is same. What is the atomic number for all the three? It is 1. What is the mass number? It is 1 for hydrogen, 2 for deuterium and 3 for tritium. So you can see that it has the same atomic number but different mass number. Next, let us see what is meant by isobars. Isobars are nothing but atoms of different elements have same mass number but different atomic number. Look at the example over here. Argon, potassium, calcium. They have the same mass number 40 but the atomic number differs for argon, potassium and calcium. Such elements are called as isobars. Next is isotones. What is isotones? Atoms of different elements with different atomic numbers and different mass number but with same number of neutrons are called as isotones. Look at boron and carbon. Can you see boron has different mass number, different atomic number, but the number of neutrons. How many neutrons are there? 6 neutrons. In both boron and carbon, there are 6 neutrons. They have same number of neutrons, but different atomic number and different mass number. You call it as isotones. Finally, let us have a review of what all we studied. Today we studied about Rutherford's atomic model, Niels Bohr's atomic model, discovery of neutrons, atomic number and mass number, electronic configuration of atoms, isotopes, isobars and isotones. I am sure you enjoyed the lesson today, children, and I have sent a enrichment video and a test for you to enjoy and to take up. Have a good day, children. Bye. We'll see you in the next class.